And now, who better to join us than the man who created this family 34 years ago? A proud Australian, an immigrant from Lebanon, a business achiever, a published author, the pioneer of multicultural marketing in this country, a member of numerous boards, councils and committees, a recipient of many accolades and orders, including Lifetime Achievement Award from the Migration Council Australia, a member of the Order of Australia AM, and an officer of the Order of Australia AO, the very busy Mr. Joseph Assaf. Now, Joseph, I could have kept that list going, but I thought we better get you up here. Congratulations on all of your achievements. How are you?
Well, thanks. How are you? Tell me.
I'm very, very well. Would you like to say a few words to the audience?
About what? Tell me.
A special welcome from your heart.
First, I would say dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without specifying, because I have one current Prime Minister and two former Prime Ministers. So let's say to everyone, please allow me to break with the protocol. I quite often do so, and say welcome to every one of you.
Beautiful. Now, Joseph, you famously came to Australia in someone else's shoes with a suitcase full of dreams, and yet here you are up here tonight. Take us through some of the journey from that time to these incredible events that have really changed the course of this country's history. You are phenomenal.
Well, Tracy, I can do so, but I need long time, so I'm trying to say it in a very brief manner. Not long after I landed in Australia in someone else's shoes, I fell in love with the three things: a country, a woman, and an idea. I was fascinated by the diversity of everything: faces, races, languages, cultures, cuisine, religion. I decided to call Australia home. The woman that I fell in love with is still the same woman that I am still in love with. Angela Bianca, an Australian-born Italian, the mother of 3 boys, and the grandmother of 14 grandchildren, and they haven't stopped yet. The productive diversity is still active. And the idea was the idea of how to communicate with this vast diversity, people from every corner of the earth. So with my white angel, Angela Bianca, that's what I call her, with my wife, we started Australia and the world's first multicultural communication agency. The work of that agency took us everywhere, not only to the 200 and more communities that make up this nation, but quite often to their countries of origin. We were able to inform them, educate them, tell them about the differences that they encounter here in Australia. But equally, we learned from them a lot, right from the beginning, from the outset. Australia taught me to be fair and fair dinkum. The indigenous taught me to respect the land. I learned from the English to respect the law. Earlier, the French taught me to respect the language. I learned from everyone. The Chinese taught me to work and work hard, yet the Japanese taught me the art of negotiation. I don't want to tell you what I learned from everyone, because you can find it in the book, and I'm not selling it, I'm giving it away anyhow. It's for charity. So I learned from everything. I learned for my communication that effective communication, whether you are buying or selling or advertising or marketing or negotiating, you need to understand the culture and the language of your target audience. Not necessarily foreign language or foreign culture, because the women have their own culture. The kids have their own culture. The elderly have their own culture. They also have their own language. I learned that every town, every city, every country has its own culture. Australia has its own culture. The world has its own culture. The culture of Australia is the culture of the world, is multiculturalism. And multiculturalism is not a passing fancy. It's not a nice thing to do. It's not a government policy. Multiculturalism is a way of life. Equally, diversity is not an option. It's not a choice. Diversity is the fact of life. I also learned that diversity generates harmony. And harmony is the coordination of differences. And the absence of harmony is monotony. And monotony is the absence of differences. I also learned that culture includes, that diversity includes every culture and excludes none. But the most important lesson that I learned, that if you want to see the world through someone else's eyes, stand beside them. If you want to feel empathy to the world around you, try to bless them. But to bless others, you need to be blessed. And to be blessed, you need to love others. And to love one another, we need to learn how to walk our journey in someone else's shoes. I hope I answered your question.
You answered my question beautifully. Joseph, you are always so eloquent, speaking from the heart about diversity and multiculturalism. I'm going to share a little bit of a secret. Tonight is your birthday, right? You are 79 years of age. You are 80 next year, which is a big one. What are your plans? And just as importantly, what are the plans for the Ethnic Business Awards?
Well, I often get asked that question. I have a very capable and very smart and intelligent board that can look after it, headed by our former Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, you know. You have a board that can function very well. I also have a very good panel of judges that I am sure they will continue to be running with these awards for many years. But let me tell you, for me, I will stop being involved in it when I stop being able to give. As long as I can give, I will continue working on the awards. And also, whenever my creator decides to give me another task and with another destination, then I will go. I won't refuse. You wanted me to, you asked me about the awards.
Yes, absolutely.
Why did I start the awards? I think you said it before, or someone. A typical migrant of the 60s arriving in Australia with a suitcase, empty suitcase, but full of dreams. And having witnessed the heroic achievement of migrants and their success against the odds, I decided to tell their positive story, unlike the negative criticism against migration, especially at that time, that they cost the country, that you have to educate them, you have to teach them the language, you have to find them a job, all that, but they forgot that they give much, much more than what they take. For that, I thought I will showcase their success. And I was fortunate right from the start. SBS loved my idea, and they joined me on the journey. And since the inception of the award, SBS have been broadcasting the awards every year for 34 years. And the success of the Ethnic Business Award encouraged me to create the Indigenous in Business Award. I saw how migrants, without government support, without putting their hands out, they achieved great success in business. And I wanted my Indigenous brothers and sisters to rely on their resilience. After all, they are dreamers. They are migrants. And the only difference, they came before us, the new migrants, the new settlers, 60,000 years old. But they make this land to stay welcoming for all of us, and I thank them for that. For that reason, I create the Indigenous Business Award. And I would like to conclude with something that I get quoted with it all the time, that every one of our migrants is a mini economic stimulus package. Thank you.